Steven, welcome. Good coffee, good music.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So, I'm super excited about you being here, all the way down from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wisconsin. It's I recently moved there actually. So I was down in Louisiana for a few years, where I'm from, after my wife and I got married, and then we moved to Florida randomly. It was awesome, but it was too expensive to stay, so we recently moved back. So now I live in a 100-year-old farmhouse
Fantastic.
in St. Cloud, Wisconsin.
Is this like a homesteading situation? Are you guys like trying to do this whole homesteading thing? That's like,
I think we wish we were homesteading. Like, we don't have enough land or stuff to do it.
it's just old enough to be.
Oh yeah, for sure. It does look like I have enough land. So there's a farm right behind our house, and like there's a property line like right next to where the window of the kitchen is. And so the funny thing is like when you look out the kitchen from my house, it looks like I've got this vast property, and I feel like I own it.
So, how long ago did you move there?
We just moved in July, the end of July. Well, no, sorry, the beginning of August.
And you've lived in Louisiana and Florida.
Yeah.
So this is going to be your first winter above the Mason-Dixon line.
LOL. Yeah, well, so I did.
Have you ever shoveled snow? Have you ever shoveled?
I have shoveled snow. It's not fun. So
you really don't know what's in store for you.
It's
okay to be honest.
Yeah,
it's okay to be
it'll
honest.
be okay. I'll be fine. As a Cajun boy, I have been in Wisconsin during the wintertime, and I've gone out while Wisconsinites are bundled up. I've gone out in a t-shirt rolling. So like I got thick blood.
I don't know if that's a medical issue that we're going to have to talk about another time. But how do you drink your coffee? Like with these cold mornings coming in, you're going to have hot coffee.
Hot coffee.
How do you drink your coffee?
Most regularly, it's just a classic, like just drip. We've got this Mr. Coffee we got a little coffee station.
Classic.
And it's just, just drop some coffee in there, let it run, and yeah. And
cream, sugar, or just the black? How do you
lately, it's been black.
Yeah.
I've been trying to change up the diet game lately, I'm doing just black right now, and it's actually really interesting because the coffee I feel like has really opened up a lot. Like once you get used to the bitterness, you can kind of find some of those notes.
Well, my opinion is good coffee shouldn't be bitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, good coffee is not bitter. Like if it's roasted well, it shouldn't be bitter. There's lots of flavor notes in good coffee. You shouldn't be having bitter notes in it.
Okay, well then I'm drinking bad coffee.
I mean,
you heard it here first. Bad coffee in my house.
There you go.
But so tell me. Actually, you tell me about that. Well, so if I'm like, how do you get the bitterness to not show up if you don't, like, I know you said it's good coffee, but like, what does that mean? To me, black coffee is bitter, and so that's why it's like, oh, it's like motor oil, you got to drink it, and you're a man, and blah, or whatever. So, but that's not what you're saying. So
I'm saying that coffee is a plant. It comes from, it's the seed of a plant.
It comes from the ground. I love it.
Comes from the ground. It grows up. It becomes it has like little flowers. Those little flowers become little cherries. Those little cherries have a little seed inside it. That seed becomes a coffee bean. The coffee bean, where it's grown, how it's grown, the type of plant will naturally have sweetness and aromatics and flavor notes and floral notes and all these kind of stuff. If it's roasted well, those notes will come through. If it's over roasted, that's when you're going to start having bitter notes coming out of it.
Oh, okay.
And that bitterness is there's going to be some bitterness that's part of it. It shouldn't be overpowering.
Gotcha.
Like there's other sweetness.
So when you notes. you were so generous and gave me a flat white a little while ago.
Yes.
And so whenever I was getting all of those floral notes, that wasn't because I'm so acclimated to black coffee, I can nail it. It's actually because you're a good roaster. Got it.
The coffee was roasted well, brewed well, and it's going to accentuate the acidic and the sweetness.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it shouldn't need any. You can always add creamer. Like my morning coffee, I drink with half and half. I like dairy. I like milk. I would do well at a dairy farm.
Dude, Wisconsin, we got tons of it.
I know you do.
It's wild.
But it's too cold for me. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So tell me, you're going to be playing some music
Yeah.
here a little bit later. 2 songs.
Yeah.
Tell me what songs you're going to be playing.
So I'm gonna play 2 songs. I'm gonna play "All God's People" because I wrote that song about a little over a year ago, and I just love playing it, man. It's just so much fun. It's a fun tune. And then I'm also gonna sing a new song that will have fairly recently dropped by the time people see this. It's a song called "House of the Lord," and that's would have come out October 25th, and so I'm really excited about it. So all of my songs are full band, rockin' versions of songs, and so I thought it'd be cool to have some acoustic stuff of just kind of me doing my thing. So we're gonna do some acoustic interpretations of.
So these songs normally you design it and you write. I'm not musically inclined.
Sure,
I don't know.
I don't know.
So when you're writing a song with thinking of the whole band. You're thinking of the drums, the bass. You're thinking maybe you're going to have some brass in there or something like that.
Sure.
Like you think of all that.
Yeah.
How do you like? I can't comprehend how that happens.
Yeah. So when I'm thinking of songs, I'm imagining songs. So I started writing music when I was really young. And the kind of music I was writing was like early 2000s pop punk emo stuff, right? And all of that is very aggressive, huge, you want it to be loud in your face or whatever. And that's just kind of how my brain hears stuff. It's like, to me, when I'm writing a chorus part to a song, I'm writing a refrain or whatever, rarely do I write a song where I want it to be sort of like soft and calm and like a pull down, which is valid and is super cool. And there's some great songs that I'm thinking of right now that like do that to a great degree. Yeah. But my instinct, my go-to thing is whenever I hear a chorus, I want it to smack you in the gut, and I want it to be anthemic and huge, and I want like rah, and so my brain just sort of like hears it, like it's just it's like a picture opening.
You want people to emote. You want people to get out like in extrovert.
Precisely, as I do myself want to extrovert.
You want your songs to pull people and like get them out.
And I think it's just it's a matter of my own instinctive impulse, right? It's just the thing that I naturally gravitate towards. And so and I think those songs that I'm doing today kind of reflect that.
But we're going to do a little bit more toned down acoustic version.
Yeah, it is an acoustic interpretation. I think the chorus will still chorus. You know what I mean? Like it's still going to be.
I don't know what you mean, but I'm going to go with you on it.
It's still gonna like there's still gonna be the anthemic qualities to it. It's just there's not gonna be the robust, huge band behind it or whatever. But I think it will be cool, and I'm excited to do it. But yeah, that's how my brain. It's just like whenever I'm writing a song, I don't know what it is. It's like I can kind of hear the groove, especially in the early stages of writing. A lot of times I will like hum the tune and like kind of do. I'm not good at beatboxing, but I can do enough of it to kind of like.
So this is something that's always
intrigued going.
When you like you said, coming up with a song, you'll be humming the tune. Mm-hmm. The tune comes first before the lyrics, or is it depending on it?
It depends. It's one of those things where so sometimes I'll work on a song and the song comes about because I sat at a guitar or piano or whatever and I played long enough to make a mistake that sounds cool, if that makes sense. Like I play plenty and the mistakes happen quickly, to be clear. Mistakes happen quickly, but a mistake that sounds good is a little bit more rare. And then you say, oh, that was kind of cool. And so then I'll come up with something that kind of
So you're talking about
comes with it.
You're sitting at the piano, you're like you're
making up some stuff.
So like I call that like I guess because I have no training, I would do that just like blah, 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 like just like and all of a sudden like it starts to sound good.
Yeah. Just
now me as somebody that doesn't know about music, I wouldn't be able to replicate that. That happens to you. You're like, oh, that sounds good. Let me do that again.
Sometimes I have to find it. Sometimes it's like I'm just kind of doing stuff and I'm kind of improvising or something and I'm making something up and then I'll hit a weird note and I'm like, oh, actually that was kind of cool.
Okay.
What was that? And then I'll sort of like kind of deconstruct. Okay, where is this note in the scale? And
did you study music?
Lightly. So when I was a junior in high school, it was really cool. Even though I went to a public school, we had a a choral teacher that
No
was
smack on public schools.
No, like-
Public school teachers, we love you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a product of public school my
Yeah,
whole life.
yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, not every public school offers the same things. That
Okay,
was my point. in
that's what
sorry.
you were going at.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no, it was the idea that not every public school will offer the same sorts of electives and things.
Okay.
And so, it was peculiar that we had at our public school a teacher who was also had his doctorate in music, who was
wow.
our choral teacher. And I wasn't in choir, but randomly my junior year of high school, as I was kind of becoming wildly obsessed with music and songwriting and stuff, they offered a music theory course. And the teacher was just, wanted to make sure I had an ear for music, so I had to kind of go in and just kind of show that I kind of knew my way around music stuff. And he was like, you got it, you're fine. So I had a whole year of learning a lot of theory stuff, very basic level stuff, and that was a game changer. I mean, it really was. It's interesting because I think there's sometimes people who think that you learn theory and it's going to box you in. You're going to lose all your creativity because you know all these, like, the codes, the formulas, the structures and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, it's like learning language, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you don't become worse at English by studying English, right? You become a master of English by studying English, right? And so it was a game changer. It not only did it not hinder me, my ability to compose and think of stuff and just kind of on the ready be able to make up progressions and things that work was skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And so that was a big turning point in my musical ability. So that's kind of how I'm able to sit at a piano and kind of, or play with a guitar and, play a progression, replicate things or whatever in a relatively quick manner. But so once I kind of hit a wrong note, I can kind of find it. And so, okay, and then I'll kind of chase after that. Okay, well, this is a cool note. Now, how do I build around it?
Yeah.
And so, but that's sometimes when I write songs. Sometimes I'm writing a song because I'm in my car by myself and I just feel it, like this gut feeling I want to write something, and I just start singing random stuff. And sometimes the chorus just kind of comes out, like actually for the Pride and Joy album right here, there's a song on there called Stand, and the chorus to that song, I was just in my car and I was kind of beating on the steering wheel while I was driving and just kind of stand, get up and move, like this whole idea just sort of just vomited, and then so then I immediately pulled out voice memo and like I had to get this recorded really quick so that way I wouldn't forget it, and then I kind of built a song around it after the fact.
Wow.
So yeah, it kind of happens in different phases and in different ways. Sometimes lyrics spill out, sometimes it's a musical thing, and it's weird because rarely when I go to sit down and I plan out time to write a song does a song come out. It's kind of like it's like either the faucet's on or it's off. And no matter how hard I try, whenever I sit down, like if the faucet's off, the faucet's off, Now the faucet will never turn on if I don't sit down first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I don't sit down to try. But
so I think about this, and one of the things you said is like you learned music theory and like you did it like you didn't study in college or anything, but
Correct.
you learned enough. And you mentioned something I thought was interesting. Most people think about like once you get it boxes you in, but in reality, it teaches you so you can go outside the box and really create. I love that concept. I love that idea. Like me being like thinking philosophy and thinking about that. Like I love thinking about the abstract, and so many people think, oh, you philosophy people are all the same. You just think about the abstract all the time, but it's like, no, you think about the abstract so you can bring it down to the concrete and apply it to the real world. But you, and I think I teach my girls, like you have to be able to think about hard questions and talk about this and have these conversations and do that kind of stuff. With coffee, like my roast, you earlier asked about like how do you create like get good coffee? Like there's a lot of science behind it. You have to like understand heat transfer. You have to know how to do it like that, and like how to apply heat and when to apply airflow and this and that, and do all this kind of stuff when you're roasting coffee. And it's a matter of seconds. Like you can go from a great tasting coffee to like coffee that doesn't taste as great in like a matter of 5-10 seconds. Like that's how quickly it can translate. But once you understand all of those different basics, you can apply it to any new coffee and ideally get something really good out of it. So Do you, when you're like Novum, you work with Novum, and you
Yeah.
do a lot of do you participate in the retreats and stuff like that?
Yeah, when I can.
But like now you live all the way up
Yeah,
in.
yeah, we live in Wisconsin now, but I mean, so this year we weren't able to go because we had, a couple week old fresh baby, and
Yeah,
so it
that
was
makes it
like,
hard. Yeah.
yeah, it was fresh out the
We have
kitchen.
a
So it was,
hopefully not in the kitchen, but yeah, I get you.
yeah. So it was one of those things where we, it just didn't work out. But yeah, I've gone to quite a few, and the Novum writers retreats have always been really awesome and fruitful and humbling in so many ways. Because while there's so much camaraderie when you're sharing your gifts with one another, and you're sharing your you're sharing you're being vulnerable. You're sharing parts of yourself. But at the same time, there's also like, man, you hear some people write these songs and you're just like, wow, and you're like dumbfounded, and you're just sort of like, dude, that song ripped, like it was amazing, and you sort of like, you have to fight the temptation of comparison, and you have to, as an artist, you have to try to fight the temptation to kind of downplay your own what you've accomplished.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So that's really real, and comparison's something that I've struggled with for a really long time. So it's always it's something to really stand guard of, and so it becomes a humbling opportunity, and so to navigate those waters of like, I don't like, the retreat isn't a space for comparison. Like, I can sit and I can be and I can celebrate
Yeah.
my friends who are doing this incredible work, and that has been a pretty big growth point for me, has been like trying to learn how to be my friends who are musicians, try to be their biggest cheerleaders, and I think the Novum retreat was always a powerful thing for that.
With the retreat, then I hear is like a lot of it can be like collaborative, like you working together to create
Yep,
new music.
absolutely.
Is that something that's is because some people like we may be able to work with other people and help them, but when it comes to our own work, it's like no, it's easier for you to do it on your own. Like, how does that work for you when you're creating? Because you've created you have an album already. You created, like, it sounds like you get the gem of like the kernel of the idea sometimes in your car, beatboxing and doing stuff like that. Like, what about collaborative work for you and your music? Is that something that it works well with you, doesn't, and like if it does work, how does it work for you?
Yeah, so collaborative work, I think, at the more writers retreats I've gone on, I think I've gotten better at it over the years. And I think like I was really good initially at helping other people write.
Yeah.
But I was very bad at sharing my own stuff and accepting collaborative work. And over the years, I've been so fortunate and just to be able to lucky just to work with so many of the great other artists that are part of our little collective, our little family, and some of these artists are just so good, and so it's really been a stretching and growing experience for me, where I feel like I'm more readily able to hear what other people have to say, and to kind of journey through writing a song together, and being more open and just sort of, we're just going to throw every idea at the wall, and it doesn't matter if you think it sucks or you think it's great or whatever. It's like, we're just going to throw all the handful of darts at the dartboard, and we're going to figure out what sticks. And so that's been my biggest approach with songwriting, is just like, if we're working together on a song, everybody share every idea, because even if we end up not ultimately going with that idea in particular, it might lead to another idea. And so being open to that kind of collaborative and very open, meandering kind of work has been a great journey, and has been great. So,
how is that changing you? Because I can tell in your voice and how you're saying stuff that this has been mostly a solitary journey, your music writing. And it seems like you're open to it, but it may like how is that changing you, your relationships, how you approach music, and then like that I think can reveal something. There's something.
Yeah, I mean, I think, so when I first started writing music, it was, as I was saying before, it was like punk, emo, whatever, like angsty music. Yeah. And it was all very like from places of brokenness and hurt and whatever. And I think that still exists in my music in some way. But that was very for me to express something. Whereas I feel as my journey has continued, now I feel like I'm writing stuff it is in my expression and my ideas about things or whatever, but in this collaboration, I feel like it's become, well, it's music that has more theological substance, in my opinion. And how do I say this? Like, God is a communion of persons. And so the songs that I'm writing involve communion of persons. Like, God is a community.
Yeah.
And so the songs that are about him involve community now. And that exists in a capacity that wasn't present before. And so I think that's opened up a lot of doors. And that's opened up a lot of, I think it's opened me up in a lot of ways, I guess.
I love that. That's fantastic because you're recognizing the triune God, the Trinity is a community, and that if you are going to continue to be more open to the theological type music, the more music that's going to hopefully reach a greater community, it may have to come out of more than just an isolated, but it has to come out of a community. That's fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to hearing your music because this is going to be really exciting to hear this. And you said one of them's new. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Good coffee, good music.
Hey,
That's fantastic.
Have you been down to the river? Oil and water on your skin. And try to remember, just try to remember just who you are and where you've been. 'Cause if you got the Spirit flowing in your veins, let me hear you sing it, yeah, let me hear you sing it. If you got the Spirit flowing in your veins, let me hear you sing it out Jesus' name. Oh, God's people got a little power, they got power. Oh, God's people sing a little louder, sing it louder. 'Cause if you believe it, just show me what you got, show me so we can see it. Oh, God's people, they got a little, they got a little. If you caught fire from heaven, have you ever got a blind man to see? Now try to remember, you try to remember just who's you are and who you're supposed to be. Yeah. 'Cause if you got the Spirit flowing in your veins, let me hear you sing it out Jesus' name. Oh, God's people got a little power, they got power. Oh, God's people sing a little louder, sing it louder. 'Cause if you believe it, just show me what you got, show me so we can see it. Oh, God's people, they got a little, they got a little. 'Cause we shall overcome, because He has overcome. We shall overcome, because He has overcome. Oh, God's people got a little power, they got power. Oh, God's people, they got a little, 'cause they got a little, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, God's people got a little power, they got power. Oh, God's people sing a little louder, sing it louder. 'Cause if you believe it, just show me what you got, show me so we can see it. Oh, God's people, they got a little, they got a little. Grazie. Over the long day, sweat upon my brow, waking I escape to hide from the heat and the plow over the hard times. Just weather all my doubt, where can I run to? Where can I run? Take me to the house of the Lord, where I was born again, where I'm restored again. Take me to the house of the Lord. No greater love than this, no greater love than his. Take me to the house of the Lord. When life is a fast lane, without the lights and screens, the sounds, where can I slow it down? Where does it slow down? Take me to the house of the Lord, where I was born again, where I'm restored again. Take me to the house of the Lord. No greater love than this, no greater love than his. It leads me right past for the sake of his name. Your rod and your staff that bring me comfort, that give me strength. Surely goodness, surely mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. All the days of my life I shall dwell in the house of the Lord. But in the house of the Lord. So take me to the house of the Lord, where I was born again, where I'm restored again. And take me to the house of the Lord. No greater love than this, no greater love than his. Take me to the house of the Lord. Find me in his house. Find me in his house. In the house of the Lord. You can find me. You can find me. Find me in his house. Take me to the house of the Lord. Grazie. Thank you.